Morning.
I managed to get to this till 5-10 minutes ago. Absolutely convinced it's Friday.
But, darling, if we'd got to Friday and not done the podcast, what kind of a week would you have had? Surely you would have noticed that something was missing, wouldn't you? Something's been missing this week. What happened? It's Friday. We didn't do a podcast.
I've been so busy, Judith, and nothing has been working. The internet hasn't been working. The power hasn't been working. My fridge isn't working. My phone and everything hasn't been working. It's been a very strange week. So I'm very discombobulated this morning, and I woke up convinced it was Friday, and I was off to a pub quiz this afternoon, but I'm not.
You mad thing. Are you going to a pub quiz tomorrow?
Yes. Welcome to Own It, Your Business and Your Life, with Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything you need to embrace to become a successful entrepreneur, marketing, money, and much, much more. How to create a business doing just what you love. How to own it, your business and your life. This one will be fast, funny, feisty, and very lively. So sit back and enjoy the show. Anyway, how's your week been?
Oh, well, Snowmageddon.
It's snow. Yes, I've seen pictures of snow in central London and everything.
Massive snow, big snow, the beast from the east. We've had an earthquake in Cumbria. Used to be so peaceful and ever so slightly dull living in Blighty, but no more. The weather is big news, Nicola. Big news.
Snowmageddon.
Well, that's not my word. It's a marvellous word, though, isn't it? Snowmageddon. You know how much we like to make a fuss, but actually, to be fair, the temperature today is -4. I don't think I've ever known that in my adult life, and I won't be moving my car until it's all melted, and that's got a week's worth on top, I would say, at least. I don't think I've known snow a lot in my life, but not as big or Snowmageddon-y as this.
Really, I remember when I was 3, about 63. I might have been 2, but I remember it was taller than me. It was all piled up in massive, great heat.
Yeah, but when you're 2, that's not difficult, is it?
No, I suppose not. So did your garden look beautiful?
Yes, the back garden looks beautiful. The front garden looks a bit messy. Well, it looked more beautiful on Tuesday, and today's Thursday. We're slightly over it now.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it is still dribbling down, but in a wetter sort of fashion today. And we have had some beautiful days with sort of sunrises all glittering over it, looking like a Christmas card. You know, yesterday I had to sing, sleigh bells ring, are you listening? It was very Crimbo-like.
Oh, how funny. We're having another Christmas dinner soon when some friends come back because they've got a turkey in their freezer they want to get rid of. So we're all going to have Christmas lunch again. Marvellous. Actually, there almost not a day in the year, I think, where if somebody said, you want to come around and help us eat Christmas dinner, I'd say, oh, no. It's not what I don't like the puddingy bits, but the first, the turkey course, lovely. Yeah, absolutely. In my opinion, you can never have enough Christmas dinners.
No, I think that's true. I think it depends. I mean, it's not, especially if it's somebody else's house, you haven't got your own family to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. It's glorious here. All the wildflowers are out. It's just really, really pretty. I'll have to share some pictures.
Well, in a way, that's good because you've been promising us wildflowers for several weeks on the podcast. Yeah, I'm glad they've arrived.
They're out and about. Yes, and there's some lovely pictures on Instagram, so I'll take a screenshot and share them.
Okay.
I found out this week that here's an interesting fact about the Peloponnese. There's a little town further down called Areopolis, and on the way to the little town further down, we always stop at a place called Italo, which is a tiny little deserted, well, it's almost deserted. They've got one taverna. I found out the other day that Jules Verne stayed there in 1826. He was travelling around the Peloponnese by foot.
Okay, so he wasn't doing the world in 80 days, whatever it was then.
No, he wasn't. No. I was astonished to find that. And Byron was very keen on this part of the world as well, but I had no idea that Jules Verne visited here.
Well, the world is a very small place, and almost everybody's been everywhere, apart from the people who, of course, have never been anywhere.
50% of Americans.
Oh, don't let's start slagging off the Americans.
Oh, no, God, no.
They like our podcast.
They do, yes, it's very true. We have an American lady in our right club, and we always take the mickey out of her mercilessly.
I think if you lived in a massive country like they do, with 52 states and days' worth of travelling between the full width and breadth of the continent, you perhaps might not need to go anywhere, actually. No, I mean, you can go from Alaska to Hawaii. You can do some really quite radically exciting things travel-wise in America.
That's very true. Why would you need to go anywhere else?
Well, to put it all in perspective, but don't let's go there.
So, anything else about your week?
Oh, God, yes. I've got 4 more things.
Oh, we'll go.
Yesterday I went live with Angel Jones from Trinidad and Tobago. Do you remember Angel?
Yeah, I do remember him. Great voice.
Yes, lovely man. Last week we talked about Patreon, and you know, but the listener doesn't know, that I've decided on an app instead. A paid one, pay a small sum of money a month to get access to my spoken and written content. What I want to find out, I found a lovely thing to do it on. I've forgotten what it's called now, but I will keep researching and share that with you next week. What I'd love to know is if it can be a pay what you want contribution to an app. It'd be nice to find a model that does that. Do you know the lady that everybody loves called Adrienne, who does the free yoga? No. Well, when you get to the end of the free yoga, you can do that forever for free, or you can pay $9.99 plus VAT to join her app. And when you do that, she says, thanks very much for subsidizing free yoga for everybody else who can't or won't do that.
Yes.
So Patreon's out the window. Somebody sent me a nice article, which I'll share with you, about how to use Gumroad in preference to Patreon, but it was quite complex, so it turned me off. But I'd already found this app thing that I quite like the look of. A good thing and a shocker next. Which you want, the good one or the shocker?
Oh, save the shocker for the end.
Okay, so last Friday I had one of my every other Fridays out 2018 things that I'm doing. Yeah. And I went to the pub that I'd been to the month before with my friend Leslie. And the reason I go to that pub is because almost everybody in the world, when I put into the AA route planner, what's halfway between your house and mine, that pub comes up. So there I was back again at the pub. And this time I was meeting the woman called Penny, who had been my right-hand woman in my accountancy business from 1983 until 1996, 13 years. And at various points in that 13 years, she'd lived in my house, driven my car, gone to the shops for me. She knew what I liked to eat. She would often cook my meals. She did everything for me, including the bookkeeping. She would house sit if I was away. She knew how I thought. We were busy mates. I was godmother to her firstborn child. When she left to run off with Brian, who she eventually married in a very posh ceremony in London, she left behind a cat which I looked after for years. We were close mates, but we haven't seen each other for 20 years because they went to Yorkshire. Yeah. And what happens when you have friends that go and live in somewhere like Yorkshire, or indeed Stupa, is people go once and they don't come again because it's too much like hard work. I drove to Yorkshire once, it took me 9 hours. You go, right, that's it, we're not doing that ever again. If you're trying to hold your life together, it's too much for faff to go for weekends when people have chosen to take themselves out of your life. Yeah. And she told me last Friday that I wasn't unique in that in any way, and I had to apologise. I said, I apologise, I've been such a rubbish friend in those 20 years and an even worse godmother. And she said, don't even think about it. But we absolutely got back into it as if those 20 years had not passed.
Amazing, isn't it?
It was magical. She brought me a jar of her marmalade. I gave her a copy of my book. We only had 2 hours, and we'll definitely do it again. But she told me some stuff that day. She said, tell me about you. And I said, the last 10 years have been really hard. And then I said, tell me about you. And she said, the last 10 years have been really hard. I said, I wish I'd known that so I could have been there for you. She said, I wish I'd known that so I could have been there for you. And she told me some things that day. Then she said, you're one of 3 people in the world ever that I could talk to like this. And we hadn't seen each other for 20 years.
What a compliment.
Well, more just how time and distance just kind of imploded into nothing, and we were as we ever were.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? I've got a friend like that, Kim, as you know. We hardly ever see each other, but when we do, it's like we were 19 again.
Well, you hardly ever see each other now, but you have spent most of your adult lives together, haven't you?
Well, on and off. We saw a lot of each other when our kids were small, but because all families get together because it's easier.
Yes, quite.
I haven't seen a lot of her recently.
Anyway, it was really lovely, and something funny happened where I'm not going to tell you the details because she doesn't want anybody to know, but she behaved exactly like she did 20 years ago in both good and bad ways, which was quite funny anyway. So 20 years just disappeared. But the big shock news of the week is after that wonderful day I came home to hear that the place where I've been living for a year, they want me to move on.
Oh no.
And in a very short time frame because the lady I'm with, her mother needs 24/7 care, and they want her to be in the space that I'm occupying.
Oh dear.
And that could happen like later today. Well, I think it probably would have happened already if it hadn't been for the snow. So I got shock news, and I didn't sleep on Friday. I felt shocked and anxious and fearful about being homeless. It got better in the next 48 hours, and I've been talking to your sister online about house sits, and I put out an advert for house sitting, and people have been very responsive. But actually, on Saturday or Sunday, we came up with an idea, which is if Nanny comes into my suite, I could go to Nanny's house.
Ah, okay.
Well, we don't know that's going to happen yet, but
Yeah.
that's an option. It depends on the approval of the rest of the family. So I'm in limbo. I'm in limbo, and I'm in snow up to my knees.
Oh, God. But you sound remarkably chirpy, I must say.
Well, I've had a week to get used to the idea. Last Friday night, I wasn't happy about it at all. I had this great experience with Penny, and then this awful news in the evening.
Yeah. You know that there are always plenty of houses out here for rent, don't you? Nice ones.
Yes, I do. It wouldn't be my choice.
No,
I'm glad it's your choice. It wouldn't be my choice. 2 people immediately jumped in and said, "Come here, come here." You know, I might not need to do either of those, and they're not ideal for various reasons. But I don't need to live in a cardboard box.
No, of course you don't. Oh my word! It is quite testing, isn't it? Being digital nomad.
It's very testing, actually. And there's a client of mine, Andrea, who's been a digital nomad for about 4 years. And what I really admire about her is she's never sugarcoated it. And at times it's been terribly, terribly, terribly difficult. You don't have your stuff. You don't have support. You don't know where you're going to live. In fact, even somebody quite big and brave like our favourite Australian Canadian, what's his name, he's in Europe at the moment. Yarrow. Even he did terribly stressful and time consuming, and no sooner do you get to your new billet when you have to spend hours online trying to find out where you're going to go next. And so when I put out my advert, I said, medium to long-term house sits. I can't do 3 weeks here, 2 weeks there. I can't. I'm a Taurian apart from anything else. Our home is our thing. I need to put down roots, even if it's only for 3 to 6 months.
Mini roots.
I do. I need mini roots. Yes, I've never had maxi roots because of, the Royal Marines and all the times I've moved houses in adult life. But mini roots, a solidarity beneath my feet is essential to me.
Yeah. I think I need to know that I've got somewhere as a base. I'd like to travel more, but having somewhere that you can come back to is.
I think I've got several places that I can use as bases. Actually, I've got 4 lots of either single or couple friends who I know would let me use as a base. So if I started to become a career house sitter, I could rotate between those 4 in between. Here, tell me about what's fueled your fire, if anything.
Well, I went to Kalamata shopping with some friends. I haven't been interested in clothes at all for ages. I haven't cared what I look like. I've just been wearing the same 2 outfits on rotation. I don't care. I haven't cared. And I suddenly thought, no, I'm sick of all this. I'm sick of wearing washed out black and feeling like a scruff bag. So I thought I'll go shopping. I don't anticipate buying anything. So I contacted a love goddess sized figure lady locally and said, where can I go to get some clothes? And she said she did direct me to somewhere, and we got to Kalamata and I went there. And actually, funny enough, in Kalamata there's a Henny's and there is a Zara. Now Henny's has a plus size in the UK, but it just doesn't in Kalamata. And Zara is for stick thin people, so that was no good. So I trotted around the sort of centre looking for shops, and unfortunately the Greek taste runs to quite a lot of spangles. So while I could find some plus size shops, they were very spangly indeed. So not my style at all. So I thought, okay, well, let's just see if I can get some shoes. So there was a sports shop and I thought, I could get some Vans, being my favourite plimsolls. I went in, they had Vans, but they didn't have the right kind or size for me. But I got a pair of very nice black suede Nikes, with sort of old school plimsolly sort of flat soles. Anyway, I sent them to Nelson. He said, very fresh, Ma. So I've been approved. And that sort of, I managed to get some jeans. Unfortunately, they were black because I am trying to get out of black. But now, at least now I know my size because, I haven't known what size I was, so I couldn't order online. So I came back and I promptly ordered a load of stuff from Marks and Spencer's. It turns out doesn't deliver to Greece, but apparently Tesco and Sainsbury's do, which is interesting. So Phoebe's going to have to pass those on. But I've suddenly gone into clothes mode. I've suddenly got interested again in what I look like. Boring for everyone to listen to, but it's a sign.
No, I don't think so. 2 women in conversation. Quite a lot of our listeners are women. I think quite a lot of women will resonate with what you're saying. Well,
it's more about the fact what it means about my emotional health.
Yes, quite. We've got it, Nicola. You don't need to labour the point. We're with you.
Okay.
We got it. We're subtle. We've been with you for the last 2 years. We know.
Okay, fair enough. What's fueled your fire then?
Well, a funny story this, actually. Do you know Barbara Winter?
Not sure.
No, Barbara Winter's a sort of American me. She's a bit older than me. And she's been running a business a bit like mine for a long time. And she's written a book called Joyfully Jobless. That was about 20 years ago. And she does more workshop-y things than me. And recently she's got into a sort of the occasional webinar as well. It says on the front of Joyfully Jobless that she's written the Small Business Bible, but can I find it? No, I can't. But she is one of those who travels a lot. She loves Italy. And she gets paid to do that travel writing, that some people do.
Oh.
But now you'll like this. Well, actually, I don't think you will. Both of us will scratch our heads at this one, but it's impressive. Because she's slightly older than me, and I'm slightly older than you, she creates and sells 6 times a year a printed newsletter called Winning Ways, which she sends all over the world for an annual subscription of $36 in the US and $41 if you're outside.
Oh, that's quite cheap.
Well, I was thinking more of, then she receives them all and she packs them up. So she's sort of like a sort of desktop publisher, and they're all delivered, and her and her grandchildren stuff them in envelopes, and presumably they do a sticky label run and stamps. They go to the post office and they mail them to people. I mean, honestly, I couldn't even contemplate it if it's not digital. I don't even want to, I can't read that because I don't want to receive it in paper format. But people do, is the point of this story. People do.
I know, there are several people I know that run print.
Yes, I know. What's his name? Anyway, I can't think of his name. But anyway, she kept saying, Barbara, that she was going to buy a copy of my book. And I knew she hadn't, because CreateSpace tells you who's bought how many copies from which country. And there weren't any sales in America in the period in which she said she was going to get a copy of my book. I mean, she sent through 2 messages on Facebook earlier in the week. And the first one says, when I saw what was in the package in my mailbox this morning, because Americans go to the post office to collect their post. When I saw what was in the package in my mailbox this morning, I stood at the post office skimming your book. This is not my normal behavior, by the way. I got so excited by what I saw, and my first reaction was that it arrived in time for me to include it in my bookshelf column in Winning Ways. Then I realized it's a perfect fit for the reading list for my new, small, sassy and successful program. Can't wait to devour more of it. Bravo. Oh. And 4 hours later, she sent me another message. It says, suspicions confirmed. Just finished reading your introduction to Your Biz Your Way, and I'm convinced you should be, wait for it, the poster girl for small, sassy and successful. Nicola, I'm a poster girl. I'm 62 years of age and I'm a poster girl.
That's good.
It's very exciting, isn't it?
So, are you mystified as to where she's got her copy from then?
No. By the end of the month, there were some American sales. They just weren't happening in real time, apparently. Okay. But anyway, I did think of writing for a long time, about a week. I kept thinking, sending an email saying, you didn't order it from England, did you? Because if you ordered it from America, they haven't paid me for it. But anyway, it did turn up in the end. Yeah. And the other thing which I'm liking is that people are still sending in photos of themselves with my book from all over the world. And I wish I'd thought of that, because you can exploit that brilliantly, can't you? I could have had a competition or, I don't know, all sorts. But anyway, next time I'll know. And Sally, my astrologer client, who has been published in 12 volumes, obviously, because astrology is, 12 star signs, this week or in the last 10 days by Hodder and Stoughton. She is having a competition for people who send in the pictures of her with their book from all over the world. Brilliant. Yeah,
it's nice. It's a nice idea. I've bought several books where people have done that.
It's a brilliant idea. I wish I'd thought of it before. People just voluntarily did it, but if I'd thought to incentivize it, that could have been fun.
Yeah. It's so
anyway, the point of this story is I'm a poster girl.
Very nice.
Okay.
Here at Own It, we personally believe that leaders are readers. But sometimes it's just not convenient to read and you'd rather listen instead. For listeners of Own It the podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. A couple of titles we've picked out for you particularly are Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg or Crush It, Why Now is the Time to Cash In on Your Passion by Gary Vaynerchuk. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/ownit. Again, that's audibletrial.com/ownit for your free audiobook. You can pick one of the ones I've chosen for you, or you can choose something else. Enjoy your listen.
So we're on to Loose Women selection now.
Yes. Now we can be relatively short today because we've already chatted for the best part of half an hour.
Okay, let's go and move that out of the way, and let's go.
I should warn you, I've got quite a lot of interesting things to tell you in the second half as well, so we can afford to be quite short in here.
Okay, all right.
Bill Gates warns cryptocurrency has a deadly side. Yeah, well, he's also got an axe to grind.
Yeah.
He's on the side of the state when it comes to cryptocurrency.
Heather Worsley in Buxton.
There you go. Yeah.
It's a bit of a boring old timeline today, isn't it? If you discount all the ads.
Keep going.
I'm looking forward to this Think and Grow Rich documentary.
You get a lot of ads. I've got all my ads turned off, but of course you'd need to have yours turned on, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
because
I like seeing them.
For a living. Yeah.
There's Kayla and Michael in New Zealand having a lovely time. Oh, these are the drummers, Greek drummers. There's a lot of this going on at the moment. It's festival time. Lots of starlings in Brighton going past. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is very dull, isn't it? We haven't found anything yet.
Keep going.
Kittens and old ladies, that's a nice thing.
Ish. Oh, that's quite fun. That's quite fun. Dick's Sporting Goods stores have wade into the guns argument in America. They sell guns, and they're going to...
I think we'll upset a lot of people to talk about gun.
They're going to do that slightly differently, and everybody's quite pleased about that.
There's lots of starlings in Brighton. More snow.
Well, this is a sign. There's nothing interesting on Facebook to talk about.
No, there isn't today.
It's because everybody's too busy coping with their lives in the snow, you think. I tell you what, here's an interesting thought.
Go on, then.
Somebody I saw this morning put this, and it's difficult to get your head around it, but in parts of England, they've shut, so for instance, Kent, where I am, they shut 350 schools earlier in the week. And lorries were jackknifed on the motorway, and it wasn't safe to drive anywhere, and you have to drink. What's an essential journey? There are red warnings, which means risk to life, all over the UK. They're basically saying, don't go out if you don't have to. So what's an essential journey?
Well, trying to get home. Someone I know was on the M1.
Well, if you're out, yes. If you're out, yeah. But what would cause you to leave home? What's an essential journey in life-threatening weather conditions? There's only one answer to this. It's nothing.
Unless you've got a medical emergency on.
Unless you have to go and make sure somebody else is safe. So we had to go and find Nana and make sure she was all right. But, if you don't have to leave home, don't leave home. Dawn Dowsett made a very good point this morning. A long-time booked hair appointment is not an essential journey.
So... it depends how grey you're looking.
In England, in this snow, going to the hairdresser is not an essential journey. No, going to school isn't even either, and going to work needn't be, because you can work from home. There's no point in taking your car out if it would slide all over the road or motorway, risk you, and more importantly, other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So are there people,
Well, after 24 hours, Monday, nobody moved in my part of the world. Obviously, the weather, I was only in my part of the world on Monday. It crept up country as the week wore on. And on Monday, nobody moved. It was quiet. The lane was completely white and nobody moved. And the road, at the end of the road, was closed. We couldn't go anywhere even if we wanted to. But Tuesday, clearly they'd all had enough because the sun was out. It's still deep, deep, deep snow. The sun was out, but they'd had enough of being at home. They were stir crazy. They were going to go and try and find a way out. We knew the main road was open and things like that. But even so, yesterday, let me tell you about the Ocado man. Yesterday morning, I said, in my group where we talk about magic and miracles, I said, okay, so today's magic will be the Ocado man coming. Today's miracle will be the dustbin men. Suffice to say, the dustbin men didn't turn up. Of course they don't. They work for the state. But the Ocado man, who works for Commerce, he did turn up. He was 2 hours late. And I said, oh, you're my hero. How on earth did you get here? And he said, well, normally I go to work on a motorbike, but obviously I couldn't do that today. So I went on the train. And I went, oh, I didn't think the trains were working. He said, they're not. I had to walk an hour and a half through the snow to get to work.
Oh, my God.
No, that man's a hero, isn't he?
Yeah, I bet. Well, I hope he was appreciated at work. I really do.
Well, interestingly, I offered him, I said, have you got a flask in the van? Would you like coffee or soup? He said, no, could I have a jug of hot water to keep my screen wash clear? That's all he wanted. The man's a knight of the road. But I think what I'm saying is that we are all quite determined. It's a bit like when you're packed and ready to go to the airport for your holiday. Sometimes when I go to the airport, they offer me money to go somewhere else. And I'm never flexible enough because I'm psyched for going home. And today would be a good example. This week would be, if you're psyched for doing something that's been in your calendar for a long time, you could conceivably grit your teeth and go, right, I'm going to make this happen. But actually, the weather is saying, for heaven's sake, Judith, stay at home. Nothing compared to life and limb is an essential journey.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember any time apart from that big storm. When all the trees blew down.
Yes,
that there was anything like this that stopped people in their tracks like this.
Well, I think snow often does, but we don't have it as big as this. And of course, I'm very much aware that England are making a terrible fuss about this, because England and Scotland and Ireland and Wales, because in Canada and America and other places where they listen to us, they live with this for months of the year.
I know. And they've got all the infrastructure set up.
Well, that's what everybody says. They've got trucks and they've got snow tyres and they've probably got a 4x4. And, people are talking to me about traction control. I'm thinking, I don't even know what that means.
Traction control.
I certainly haven't got snow tyres. It's the same reason I've got fans, because I got rid of my fans, because you can't store something you use on 3 days of the year.
There's quite a lot of fans over here, I can tell you. They're not.
Well, as I said to you, it used to be so peaceful and ever so slightly dull living here, but now it's kind of Snowmageddon. But it does make you think. My point is, I'm quite a determined person, and it's like, right, come hell or high water, I'm going to get this done. But actually what the snow thinking has made me realise is, if it says red warning, which means danger to life, you don't need to get it done.
No. I suppose the only thing I've got that compares, that stops me completely in my tracks, is when the power goes off here, because you simply can't do anything except...
That's very frustrating.
And find a taverna that's got a generator.
Yeah, that is very frustrating. And actually, I think that in this day and age, quite quickly, our back's really against the wall if we haven't got power in terms of amusing ourselves / working, which for you and me is the same thing.
Yeah, I make a real point of keeping my iPad charged up so that I can read my Kindle if it all goes off.
Yeah. But when we're in St Martin, the thing that bothers me most about all of the stuff, the utilities going off, is the water. Not so much that I can't drink it, but that I can't shower in it.
That's very true. At least I can still shower here because we've got, what's it called? Solar panels on the roof.
So you're all right for showering. Yeah. You can't keep cool and you can't work.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you can't work, basically. All you can do is read and sit by the fire or go down the village to a taverna with a generator.
Well, that's our option today, is we can read and we can sit quietly, or we can put all our kit on, which I haven't got, because I try to pretend that winter doesn't exist, so I haven't got any waterproof clothes, or I've got a velvet coat, which is going to be absolutely useless to me in snow, because snow's all wet. I've got some boots which wouldn't last very long. They're more sort of cosmetic than they are waterproof. Yeah. But I expect the neighbours who aren't going to work are putting all of that on. And I've seen people go up our road in snowsuits with snow poles and everything. And they're land laughing, or whatever the word is, across country to the pub.
Do you know, you've just made sense of something for me. I was looking at Snapchat and Phoebe was looking at some salopets.
Yes.
Is she booking a skiing holiday?
No, she needs them to get to work. Yeah. She's living in Lapland for a week at least.
They're bright blue. You're not going to miss her.
Anyway, so I think we should move on, because but I think what I'm suggesting is that we should all consider what's an essential journey. In exceptional circumstances, just change your mind, keep your family safe, stay home and play with each other, do that sort of stuff we do at Christmas time, which is, play card games, and keep warm, keep safe, don't take the car out if you don't need to. Even don't walk out, because actually all you do then is slip over and you have to call out the emergency services. and dream on there, because they're so stretched they couldn't possibly get to you.
Well, that's one of the things here. You get used to the idea that there is only one ambulance on the Marnie Peninsula, and if it's busy with someone else, you'll have to wait.
Well, be very careful, I think, is the answer, isn't it?
Exactly. Move on then. Let's talk about the other things. Word of the week.
Yeah, I'm going for testimonials, because I've asked both of my groups to update me, and I'm putting them on the sales page, and I'm putting on the I'm turning them to memes, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. I love a meme. I've turned into a meme queen.
A meme queen.
Yeah. Canva and me, we're like that. What's your word?
It's confused, because I have been all week, because we've been very busy onboarding new clients and creating standard operating procedures. That's Sarah's influence, as you can imagine.
Oh, God, I hate that word, onboarding.
Well, we've had to get a process going, because Sarah says she wants to not have to think about it, just follow a set of instructions. So if I'm going to do all the work, then I want it to be nice and organised. So she's been extracting things out of my head, and I've been having to make decisions, and then they've been going on to documents that are now, can be tick lists, and it feels really good to be doing it, but it's added to the workload quite dramatically. So in between the power going off, the internet being rubbish this week, nothing else working, and trying to do organised standard operating procedures, it's been a very confusing week, culminating.
Well, I'm confused too, actually, because none of those qualities that Sarah just exhibited in there go with being a supporter. They go with being a mechanic, weirdo, introvert, never leave the house, left-hand side person. Those qualities don't go with her profile.
What do you mean, those qualities? She's extremely organised.
Yes, I know, but supporters aren't. Supporters are, let's go to a meeting, all daffy.
I don't think she is a supporter. I think she is... it's so confusing. Sometimes I think she's a supporter, and sometimes I think she's a mechanic creator.
No, she has to be a mechanic. She with all of those standard operating, I mean, they got a shudder with that, didn't you?
Yeah, no,
standard
yeah, trying to get out of me what she wants to have.
No, and everybody else I know on the right hand side, which is supporter right in the middle, it's let's do a house and have a meeting and chat about it. I mean, I don't get it. I know that that's what Sarah's like, because I work with her as well, and thank God she is like that. But yeah, it's almost as chalky cheesy to your and my way of operating as Steve was to our way of operating, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he was a Lord accumulator.
He was down the left hand side. Yeah.
Down the left. Yeah. Well, there you go. She'll be listening to this, so she can perhaps. I don't know if she knows what she is really, because she swings backwards and forwards.
She always told us she was a supporter, and most people's profile doesn't move.
It doesn't come. She doesn't come out as a supporter. She comes out as a creator.
Oh, okay. In that case, she's closer to mechanic, and that's all right then. Okay, yeah, I'm less worried. But supporter can never be a mechanic.
No. I think a mechanic creator is definitely where she sits. Right, so that's that then. What about project updates?
Well, I'm going to have to show you my screen in this section in a minute. Hold for the moment while I tell you something else. I've got 3 things to tell you in this section, actually. The listeners will be pleased to know that I am scheduling 12 guests for us to record in 3 batches of 4 slots to go in the middle, 2 in March and 1 in April, and we haven't decided yet at what interval or how often we're going to put them out, but I've scheduled all 12 calls and 9 topics are agreed, 3 outstanding. I'm just going to flirt you with a few ideas. 3 of them are social entrepreneurs in different ways. One has a charity, one works in India, and one in the UK. Somebody's going to talk about walking, which is their business. Somebody's going to talk about time. Somebody's going to talk about chaos theory.
Oh, I like that.
Somebody's going to talk about imposter syndrome. Somebody's going to talk about being in business with their sister. Somebody's going to talk about podcasting from scratch, and a couple of other ones I'm going to keep up my sleeve. One, because I know you won't like it very much, but I think you will like it by the end of the discussion, put it like that.
Well, I'm prepared to be open-minded.
Okay, so coming soon, gentle listener, 12 guests. I think, we probably won't put them out more than once a month, will we, Nicola?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah, so do I. Good. Okay, so project updates. Last week you asked me to look up to see if videos were doing better on my Facebook Insights. No is the answer. But right now I'm only sharing 1 a week, and that's for our weekly podcast, and it's not really representative because that's only 1 post on my Facebook page amongst almost 50 in a week. I seem to reach I put out about 50 posts on my Facebook page a week.
Good grief. I've got to the bit of the flywheel of creation in the Creating the Impossible, and he said 100 tasks, 100 actions, and I think he means in a week, and I'm just like completely stumped on how I could do that. But if you're putting out 50 pieces of content in a week...
Oh, they're tiny, aren't they? I mean, the actions on the hundreds are tiny. They don't need to be, building an outhouse or something. They can be...
I just felt completely overwhelmed when I saw that and thought, nope, can't do that one.
Anyway, so I seem to reach about 900 people a day organically, and the top performing blogs, the top performing 5 posts when I looked, which was like Monday or Tuesday, were 4 blogs and 1 audio, and they reached between 195 at the lower end and 453 of those 900 all organically. But, and this is why I want to show you my screen, I'm going to show you Twitter. Judith Morgan, I want to actually just show you the one that's underneath. There we go, look at this. Here are my top performing tweets in the last month. Do you remember we looked at this once before, tweet activity? Well, look at this. Look at this graph when it populates.
Good Lord.
So, I know. And do you know what? I did nothing differently to make that happen. So, gentle listener, let me tell you what Nicola's looking at. She's looking at from February the 2nd until February the 16th, which is 2 weeks, organic impressions typically of 500 a day, peaking at 846 a day, 831 a day. Somewhere between 400, what's the lowest there? 244, and the highest is about 850. And then suddenly, for no reason at all, later in the month there is a reason, but for no reason at all, on the 17th, it leaps to 2,530 a day and has stayed at that level, which is, what's 8, 2, 8, 16, 3, 20, more than 3 times what it was before. More than, no, what's 8, 13, 19, more than 4 times what it was. So there, 3,845 organic impressions a day. This one here, 3,835 organic impressions a day from 10 tweets. I mean, what the hell? How many tweets were there here? 8 tweets. Suddenly, I'm getting like 4 and 5 times the reach on Twitter. My tweets have reached 50,000 impressions in the 28 days of February. What the hell, Nicola? What's that?
Yeah, all I can think is that someone with a very large reach has started following you and is sharing stuff.
Well, interestingly, I'm going to tell you something later on. In Who or What's Impressed. I have signed up for something, but it didn't start until something like 10 days after that weirdness. Well, and this is today. We've done nothing yet. I mean, you're halfway through the day. It's 10:15 here, and I've been talking to you since 9:30. I said 1,500 impressions. I've done nothing. What's that? Now, so which leads me to think, should we be looking at Twitter ads?
They're very easy to do.
Are they?
Yes. Twitter ads, did you say?
Yes, I did.
They are. The only thing I can think is that they've changed their algorithm on the...
Well, we need to. Can you look at yours and see? Because if it's with algorithm, then yours would have done that. It's just nothing short of weird. So each thing is being seen like 1,000 times. Each tweet. It's amazing.
Have you got your Facebook page hooked up to your Twitter? So does it tweet automatically from your Facebook page? Or there's 50 bits of content?
Don't think it tweets automatically. But if it was, I hadn't changed anything in the middle of the month. So if it does, it always did.
Yeah.
I mean, something automatically does something, but they don't. I think it's a plugin on my website that shares it to 2 separate places. Now, of course, not only do I not get it, but I don't know how to make the best of it because I don't know what it is yet. It's a phenomenon.
Well, the main thing is to have a look at see if it's bringing you more traffic, because if it's not bringing you more traffic, it's completely irrelevant anyway, isn't it?
Well, it's only irrelevant until I know what to do with it.
Where do you go?
Over there, up there, where that yellow Snapchat circle is. Yeah. Click on your profile there, Nicola Cairncross. And then when you do that, it comes up on the right-hand side. There it is, top right. And then when you click on your top tweets, it goes in there. You've had 1,500 in a week. I've had 1,500 this morning. Oh, still nice and high, though. No, not nice and high. It's a different graph. You've had 8,800 and I've had 48,000. I mean, what is that? I don't understand. How am I going to find out?
I don't know. You're going to have to...
303 a day. I'm getting up to 10 times that. Absolutely bizarre. And it just happened from nothing.
Well, all I can think is that someone with a lot of reach is
but they wouldn't be doing it every day, would they?
Have your follower numbers gone up?
You'd have a peak. No, not significantly. No, you'd have a peak if somebody did it once. But it looks like somebody's doing it every day for some. Now, I am doing something every day, but not then. I started 10 days after that.
Well, I'm mystified. I don't know.
I know, but anyway, it's quite good fun, isn't it? This week, I'll be on the case trying to work out what it's all about.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do it.
But anyway, that's a project update, which is basically my Twitter traffic's gone bananas. Tell me something about your projects.
Oh, no, I can't. There's nothing. Nothing's progressed anywhere.
Oh, right. Okay, nothing's progressed anywhere because you've had no internet. There you go.
Well, no, the internet's been back. No, I mean, I've just been working and I've done nothing about my novel, which I'm feeling really bad about because I went to Write Club yesterday. And actually, 2 of them are nearly completing their books, and so it's getting very exciting around there.
Yeah, but they don't have all your other commitments, do they?
That's true.
They're just writers. They're professional writers almost, aren't they?
Well, they're wives as well, so they do have other commitments.
Yes, I'm not saying they've got nothing to do, but you know what I mean.
No. Well, no, one of them is a VA, actually, to be fair, and the other one helps her husband with his business, so they're not, strictly speaking, not doing anything. But
okay.
Yeah, but no, I've got to make it a priority. I've got to commit to it and make it a priority because I'm just not doing it, and I feel bad.
This morning, somebody sent me his Blogfesta post, which I'm going to publish, and he's one of our interviewees. He's going to talk about time, but one of his books is a sci-fi novel.
Oh, really?
Which I hadn't realised. So I'll draw it to your attention when I get it. So I thought, oh, Nicola's like that, because one of our guests is a sci-fi novelist.
Yes, I would like that.
Yeah, I know.
So who or what's impressed this week?
Well, I've got two. Have you got some?
I have got one, yes. I've got
you go first.
A bit of software that Sarah brought to my attention called Videos, and VIDDYOZE.
Hang on. VIDDYOZE. Why are we saying Z?
I don't know, because we're American.
Videos dot something.
Yeah, .com, I think. We were talking about getting idents done for the beginning and end of people's videos that we're our new clients, and I was talking about finding someone on Fiverr to produce them, and she said, well, I've come across this video software, and I said, well, obviously it'd be more economical, but do you think we could learn to use it? But she's churning out fantastic idents, just little 5-second things where your logo comes in a whoosh or breaks up or goes around in smoke, and we're having lots of fun creating little idents.
I have to have a go. Do you know how much it is?
If not, I think it's $97, but it's a one-off payment.
Oh, thank heavens!
Yeah, but I quickly worked out that if you never get anything on Fiverr for Fiverr anymore. It's always about $30. So if I was going to pay $30 every new client, then I would swiftly make my money back. So we invested that, and it's been brilliant. You'll like it.
Yes, I think I might. Well, I found two things not dissimilar to that. Vanessa, who did a Blogfest post for me, who's the lady that helped me make my own my own AB crystal necklace, if you remember. She's got that lovely jewellery site. She said, do you mind if I put my blog post in all the places I normally do, including missingletter.com? I said, I've never heard of it. Well, I didn't. I said, no, of course, put it wherever you like. It's your blog post. Anyway, missingletter.com, spelt without the E, so missing, LETTR.com, is either free or $15 a month. And they put out the most spectacular social media content for you on any platform you like for no more than $15 a month. So I'm on the free level at the moment. And it means they pick up my blog post. So they picked up that one that there you go. They pick up and they make it look lovely. They put it in balloons. They pick up your image. They pick up your hashtags. And they basically say, here's your campaign. Do you want it to go out? And so literally, for $15 a month, I could have somebody do for me on, say, Twitter or Facebook or both, what people have quoted me sort of $300 a month to do as a human being. And it's really pretty looking.
Well, I'm going to have to check it out because...
this has happened. It has started to happen, but it doesn't explain that massive surge that I've had because I didn't buy it until just before last weekend, and I'm on the free level, so I can't remember what that gets me. But actually, tell you what it does, it drips it out across 365 days. So instead of us creating content and sharing it once or twice or having some automated plugin, it's got a proper systemized rollout over 365 days.
Wow.
I know.
Fascinating.
I haven't even paid for the paid level yet either. And look there, go back there, scroll up a bit. You can see there, it can look like that. It can be in a bubble or it can be in a branded bubble. You need to pay, obviously, for the branded version. But it goes out to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+, your choices. At the moment, I've just gone for Twitter because I do all the Facebook myself, and I'm ignoring Twitter.
I do Twitter and LinkedIn because they're the two I ignore largely.
Yeah, I'm not on LinkedIn anymore.
Plus is just dead in the water. So
no, I occasionally do that when I'm uploading a video to YouTube because does Google own YouTube or vice versa?
Yes.
Or anyway, whatever. Yeah, so I do that because they make it easy for you. In fact, they do it for you. You don't have a choice there.
Oh, right. Well, that's interesting. Did you say there was another thing?
Yes, there is, called beingauthor.com, which does the same thing for my book. And they did a 5-day blast, which is 5 tweets a day for 24 hours. Yes, sorry, I beg your pardon. There's a tweet, you can, whatever. There's a short-term one and there's a regular one for the rest of your life. You can get 20% off both. And if they do it, 168 tweets is 7 days for the rest of my life. It's $44 a month, I think. They tweet it out to 480,000 of their organic followers. I know.
And you didn't sign up for this around?
No, I didn't. I signed up for both of these last Thursday or Friday night because they were small amounts of dollars and they had to be worth a go.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
And also it's exactly what I wanted for the book. And it's exactly what I wanted from Facebook ads for the book, which was for lots of people to see lots of opportunities to buy the book because it's only $9.99 or $13.99 or something like that. And I just don't think you could do this as cheaply.
No, you couldn't. No, fascinating. Well, I want to check it out. Well done. Well done, good resources.
So, actually, both of them came up. Vanessa brought up missingletter.com, which I think is probably the better of the two. And beingauthor.com is obviously only interested if you're trying to promote a book. And it came up on Facebook in my organic feed, a sponsored thing in my feed after bedtime in the UK. So, when you're lying down in bed with your iPad, you see all these American adverts. It was that. And it was so good, I leapt out of bed and signed up for it then last Thursday or Friday night. It must have been Thursday night because Friday night was the drama. I think I've put here US-centric. I think the second one, beingauthor.com, is US-centric, but who cares? My book's in English. Yeah. Anyway, I'll link to both of those in the show notes.
Yeah, well, I'm going to check them out as well because I have books and I don't do enough social media.
Well, it's quite affordable. You can do a short, sharp blast, obviously, which is valuable for when you're doing launch time.
Yeah.
Or you can do 5 a day for the rest of your life, or 24 a day for 7 days. Whatever, I don't know. You'll see when you get into the small print here.
Yeah, okay.
And you see that thing across the top, 20% off, use promo code BA20, which reduces the price from $56 to $44.80, which is quite nice.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Although I am trying to resist signing up for monthly things.
I know you are, but it would make more sense if you were promoting a book like what I am at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I am. Yeah. I have got books, and
I know you've got them, but it's not your number one priority at the moment, whereas it is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Cool. Well done. Thank you very much. And
that's okay.
We'll see you next week.
I hope your life becomes less frustrating between now and then.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. See ya. Yeah, okay. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. The podcast is called Own It, Your Business and Your Life. Do come and visit us at ownitthepodcast.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can find out more about Judith and visit her on her website at judithmorgan.com, and you can find Nicola at nicolacairncross.com.